gained in fighting against COVID-19, which is China and ROK. Today, a very special day. After 76 days of lockdown, today marks the third day of reopening of Wuhan. And according to the number in ROK, the new confirmed cases, was 27, which is also the lowest number. Right now, we can see we have seen the lights at the end of the tunnel for both countries, but we're also facing another pressure on preventing the virus from importing to the country and is further spreading. Right now it's 3 p.m. Beijing time or the 4 p.m. Seoul time. Very soon we will invite our special guest, the academician Zhong Nanshan, and the doctor, Mr. Li Zhongqiu from the Seoul Hospital, and Madame from the Friendship Association, and also hello to all the audience online, and hello to all the viewers. I'm very nice to meet you all. So I maybe only know the hello in both languages. And also Madame Tu Huan from the ROK China Cultural Friendship Association. And we also have Mr. Xing, that's the ambassador of China to ROK. So first of all, thank you very much for CGTN for providing this great platform to conduct the sharing between China and ROK, and thank you all the viewers for your interest. And today we also invite the two big names, as academician Zhong, actually very familiar and a well-known name of each household in China, and Mr. Li, also a big figure, and you also can consider he is the director of ROK CDC, and also have won the battle against the H1N1 outbreak. And Madame Tu actually also playing a key role this time to help China and ROK to fight the COVID-19. And we're also waiting for her to share more touching stories. It is really a hard time, a dark time in the past 3 months for both countries. And we involved in this war in different time period, but with the arduous efforts, we can see China right now have successfully curbed the spread of COVID-19, and for ROK, in the recent 5 to 6 days, they have successfully managed the newly increased number to 2 digital numbers. They are the good examples, good practice worldwide. Right now, we have seen the pandemic involved more than 211 countries, infecting the 600,000 people. And for our both countries, we also have another job to do, which is to prevent the virus from being imported and further spreading inside the country. And also would like to exchange the experience that we have gained in the past 3 months. And of course, we have different national conditions. We may use the different methods, but in the end, by the end of the day, the goal is the same: to curb the spread of the pandemic. So I believe that's really meaningful to share our good practice. And for our presidency in the G20 COVID-19 summit, urged that we should conduct more the international experience sharing opportunities. So I would like to leave more time to academician Zhong and Mr. Li. I believe academician Zhong today also prepared a PowerPoint deck. So this is my second time to meet Mr. Xing online. For the first time, actually, the Ambassador Xing conducted the online exchange with the students or overseas students in ROK. And you also can see actually the academician, the Ambassador Xing also shared the QR code of the Chinese embassy in ROK, providing a lot of the valuable information to our overseas students. And leave more time to our academician Zhong. Now first, the floor to academician Zhong for the experience gained in China. Hello to all. I'm very glad to join today's live streaming. I remember really clearly at the end of January or the beginning of February, I saw the President Moon Jae-in on TV saying that we will not forget China's great support to us in fighting against MERS in 2005. Right now, China is in difficulties. We must give our helping hand to China, which is a really touching word to me. So you can see after that, we kept a really good cooperation and communication with our friends from the ROK side. So I would like to give you a brief introduction of the methods conducted in China. Right now, we know that globally, 1.4 million infections and 80,000 people died. So look at the on January 23rd, the panel of experts mentioned that this is quite a severe disease, and also we find the human-to-human transmission. So we conducted a very meaningful measure. We talk about this kind of the contagious infectious disease. We think about two ways. One is suppression, another is mitigation. Both ways actually is to slow down the spread of the virus. For China, we choose suppression. So what's the consequence of suppression, which was the great impact on its economy? But our presidency said that we should give top priority to people's health and safety, which means that we will protect our people at any cost. A big impact to our economy, it doesn't matter. First, we should save people's life. That's the message our presidency said back then. So that is why you have seen a lockdown have been imposed in Wuhan. And we also talk about the interagency prevention and control. So you can see on January 23rd, Wuhan is in lockdown, and also have the daily reporting system. Another is interagency mechanism. And we also practice 4 early measures: the early detection, early diagnosis, early isolation, early treatment that should cover to the grassroots level, where we talk about the community level. For asymptomatic patients, we also conduct the PCT tests. And look at the lockdown in Wuhan from January 23rd to February 4th, because it's reached its peak. The peak time is February 4th, right? So on the February 4th, the confirmed cases 3,893. Basically, we flattened the curve in 4 weeks. This is really a strong measure taken in Wuhan and China. We talk about no matter you stay at home or other places, first keep social distancing in order to avoid a cluster of infections. Another is you must wear masks. And second, right now we should switch our focus on the imported patients as well as asymptomatic patients with COVID-19 infection. So we talk about these group of asymptomatic patients can be divided into 2 parts. First, these are the group of people actually are close contacts of infected people, or they came from hotspot places. So for these group of people, they show no symptoms, but with contagious virus. So they will develop to the notable symptoms several days later. We talk about the nasal swab or the throat swab. Look at they will reach the more contagious stage in 5 days. So we look at the basic reproductive number. We talk about the R0 compared to SARS, MERS, or the seasonal influenza is much higher to 3.0 or even higher than 3. Therefore, under this circumstance, we should really close and stay alert to the development of COVID-19. So we look at, I will not go into details. We talk about here the Calitra, that's the candidate of the vaccine, but actually not quite feasible in Wuhan based on our clinical practice. Another is chloroquine. The result is it's may be an effective one that will be very soon available in publication. And we have conducted the 3 days. It's shortened to 3 days. So we do the different clinical practice, and we talk about the TCM, 莲花清瘟, or the LHQW. It will much improve the symptoms and higher overall recovery rate in treatment groups, and the faster symptom improvement, as well as a good CT result in CD. But we talk about there's no big difference in the implementation. Another is the plasma treatment. Or we talk about the convalescent plasma. We talk about the virus load, the improve of the oxygen saturation, as all show its efficacy. Another is a hydrogen oxygen mixed gas to relieve dyspnea, in order to prevent the patients from developing to the severe or critical condition. So for these 3 parts, we have done some explorations. One word, one find. Thank you. Thank you, Academician Zhong, for your sharing. And for our viewers, you also can leave your message on our platform, our social media platform. Academician Zhong and Professor Li, I believe you are old friends, right? Right now, all years. Hello to Academician Zhong. Back to SARS 2003. Actually, was in charge of the work carrying out in the airport. I also visited to Beijing. Actually, I saw you in really long distance. Want to meet you in Beijing airport, and I also met you before in Guangzhou. The visiting group to Guangzhou. and you are a big brother to me. I'm really glad to see you in a really good condition. Last winter, as the visiting doctor, actually, I had my trip to the China's Academy of the Medicine, and also I saw the announcement issued by China CDC saying that China found a novel coronavirus, which struck me or surprised me.
확인하게 됐습니다. 그게 이제 우한에서 환자가 생기고 열흘 만에 환자가 발생했는데 그렇게 세계는 가깝고 좁고 그런 것 같습니다. 그 첫 환자가 보고된 다음에 오늘까지 해서 한 10,000명 정도 환자가 발생했고 200여 분이 이제 돌아가셨습니다.
然后，在我看到这个消息之后，仅仅10天左右，就是
10 days after I saw the announcement on January 19, in Incheon International Airport, we found a traveler from China and found the infected patients, which was also the first infected patients in ROK, which also saying that we are a small world. We belong to one family, and right now in Korea we have 200 deaths caused by COVID-19. From January 19 to the end of February, so we found more infected patients at the airport, which were the inbound travelers, and we also increased the emergency level. And just now, we kept people in quarantine or in hospital for treatment in order to curb the spread. On February 23rd, in Taegu, we found one patient, and after the epidemiological investigation, we found that person actually involved in a church event because a large population gathered in that activity. And we trace and test all these close contacts and also conduct the accurate measures in terms of quarantine treatment. Right now, it's more than 5,000 people in Taegu, and overall, it's 6,000 infection patients. as I mentioned, it was actually a crisis. So as the Commission Zhong mentioned, on the site of the infectious disease, you talk about whether you choose a suppression or mitigation, and also a choice actually is in front of us. The situation actually is we found new cases 900 per day. So this is really a acute situation, but we didn't take lockdown measure, and we conduct the epidemiological investigation to trace the close contacts and also to do the tests.
조그마한 모임들, 종교 예배라든가 또는 스포츠 클럽에 가는 거, 그다음에 팝에 가는 거, 그다음에 각종 직장에서의 회식 이런 것들을 당분간 절제하도록 이렇게 이제 국민들한테 홍보를 했고, 철저히 지켜야 될 수칙들, 손을 열심히 닦고, 그다음 기침 예절을 지키고, 사람과 격리 적어도 2m 떨어지고, 이런 국민 홍보를 대대적으로 시행을 했습니다.
然后我们采取的这种措施虽然不是这种特制和一体的措施。
The measures in place in ROK was not directly to curb the spreading, but it's also proved to be effective. The government discouraged the people to do the public gathering, such as the going out to bars or restaurants or dining out, the
然后平时的时候要注意卫生
parties, and also pay attention to their hygiene and keep social distancing and keep a good hand hygiene, and also cover your mouth and nose by your elbow when you sneezing, and also keep social distancing at least 2 meters.
상당히 어려운 일이 많았죠. 저희는 이제 전국에 250개 보건소가 있었고, 보건소에는 이제 조기 진단 팀이 있었고, 그 조기 진단 팀과 더불어서 보건소에는 역학조사 팀이 있었습니다.
在这个来追踪患者的过程中，也不是一帆风顺的，也遇到了一
In
些
order to tracing patients, of course, it's not a very smooth journey. We had a specific team involved 250 institutes. In each institute, we
还有流行病学调查组。
had a team of the infectious disease team as well as the epidemiological investigation team.
200명까지대로 올라갔는데 이 환자를 그 다음에 어떻게 할 것이냐. 그것은 아마 저희가 중국이 면접 겪었던 그런 환자의 중증도에 따른 분류 체계를 저희가 봤기 때문에, 예를 들어서 아주 위중한 사람은 5, 6%고, 그 다음에 중증 환자는 15%, 나머지 80% 환자는 마일드 앤 모더레이트, 경증이죠. 이런 것을 환자 분류가 그렇게 심각하다 그런 걸 알고 저희들이 거기에 맞춰서 환자를 분산 배치를 했습니다. 경증 환자는 1인 용의 그런 더미터리나 기숙사나 이런 걸 개조해서 1인용으로 입원을 했고요.
其实这个我们这些流行病学调查小组早期诊断。
For the team dedicated to do epidemiological investigation, actually in the initial stage, we started to find more and more infections. And at the beginning, the daily increasing number is 300 and then to 500. The peak time actually is 900 per day, which was a huge pressure to us. But because of the successful case in China, you divided patients in a mild, moderate, severe, critical condition. So right now we talk about 5 to 6% of the critical condition, 15% for the severe condition, 80% actually the mild or moderate condition in ROK. So we learned from the Chinese experience and we identified and classified the different symptoms of patients. And also, based on China's model, we converted some of the dormitory or the hotel to establish or makeshift hospitals for mild patients.
환자 15%는 일반 병원 중에서도 응급실에 있는 병원으로 이제 이송됐고 아주 위중한 환자들은 5%는 대학병원에 1인용 음압병실이 있는 쪽으로 이렇게 분산 배치를 해서 그 많은 환자가 갑자기 증가했을 때 이런 환자 분류 체계를 함으로써 다른 병원이 마비되는 이런 상태를 막을 수가 있었습니다.
然后关于这个重症患者呢，我们就把他们分配
Regarding
一些这个
the severe condition patients,
大中型的医院里，这些医院呢普遍都有
they were treated in the middle-sized hospitals because these hospitals also have the negative pressure operation room or the wards available, and also for that 5% critical condition patients, they had their own negative pressure bed, and also the hospitalized in the larger size hospitals in ROK. And we also conduct everything we can to prevent the hospitals to be overwhelmed.
그 산발적으로 생기는 환자는 이제 뭐 콜센터라든가 노래방 뭐 이런 데서 이제 사회적 거리두기를 강력하게 권고하면서 그쪽에서 발생하는 지역 사회에서 커뮤니티에서 일어나는 환자들도 많이 줄어들고 있는 상황입니다.
然后呢，我们度过了这个第一个比较大的危机之后，目前呢还有
So after the first emergency, right now we found some sporadic cases, such as at the community level or the KTV rooms. That said, the overall emergency we believe we have already pulled through, and we do everything at the community level to avoid cluster infection.
그리고 이게 겨울방학이 연장되면서 학생들이나 어린애들이 안 생겼는데 만약에 개학이 되면서 학교를 중심으로 해서 유행이 또 재발할 것이냐 말 것이냐 이 고민을 많이 하다가 한 번을 이제 2주를 연장을 시켰고요, 개학을. 두 번째는 어제 바로 개학을 하되 이런 원급 교육으로 전환해서 단계적으로 학년별로 그렇게 계획을 하는 걸 결정했습니다. 이게 사실 어려운 결정인데 이것이 이제 우리가 그 사회적 그 거리두기하고 맞물려서 이렇게 잘 돌아가기를 기대했는데 약간의 저희가 기대한 것보다 발생 숫자가 조금 많아서 이제 계약을 연기해서 지금 진행을 하고 있습니다.
还有一个现在可能中方也在面临，然后
We believe we also have a common situation. It's also another difficulty regarding our students, because before our students actually all in their winter holiday, but we talk about the back to school may cause a new round of resurgence. So this week or last week, actually, the ROK government made a difficult decision that we postponed twice the reopening of the new semester. I believe the Chinese numbers as well as the ROK numbers all shows that it may have some difficulties to restart the new semester. And for the some schools in ROK, they right now start the online education or the online class. Of course, different school, different grade have different schedule. for the students, the young kids, we believe we should protect them well.
이제 해외에서 유입되는 홍채가 거의 반 정도가 되고 있습니다. 각 나라가 공세 정책을 하면서 이제 학교가 이제 휴교를 하게 되고 그러다 보니까는 많은 학생들이 이제 다시 돌아오는 형태가 됐고 돌아오면서 감염된 사례들이 꽤 많아지고 있습니다. 이런 해외 유입형의 또 다른 또 위협이 현재 존재하고 있습니다.
其实现在韩国和中国都面临的一个问题，就是就是这个输入这个数据的这个发生，一些国家因为扩散。
Another shared difficulty is that we talk about imported cases. That's because we also need to worry about all these overseas students. So right now, ROK also work tirelessly to control the imported cases. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I just saw the academician Zhong listen really carefully and write down some memos, right? I believe the one thing that Mr. Lee mentioned, and no matter from the government level or the public level, they actually have a quite high awareness of prevention and control. Actually, this is something we should learn from. Actually, back to 2005, it's the MERS outbreak. I also actually treated the MERS patient, but that's really a heavy lesson. So look at this time, they also conducted many measures to do the prevention and control work. And another case at this time actually is the church outbreak. So for my understanding, is they put a lot of efforts on the tracing the close contacts or to identify the patients as early as possible. We talk about screening patients. Actually, ROK is doing a better job than China. And we talk about the mass prevention and control. Actually, they use app as well as big data to help them to identify patients and to quarantine them as early as possible. I believe this is something really impressive. We are doing screening right now in China. That's also to prepare ourselves well in order to deal with the another outbreak. I believe actually ROK doing really good in the early identification. China with that large population, we should learn from ROK. And we talk about actually ROK did not shut down their business. And right now they talk about that they postponed the school opening as well as public gathering, as well as mentioned many times imported cases, and it's further spreading. So we talk about when it's time or the right time to restart the school semester and when is the time that we conduct public gathering. Do you have any questions to ask? Or maybe Professor Lee, anything you would like to ask Professor Zhong?
제가 감명 깊게 본 거는 이제 우한과 우한 예적이 서로 다른 이제 진행 사항을 가지고 있었고 우한이 상당히 어려운 그 결정을 하셨는데 제가 보기에는 어떤 기준으로 이제 공세, 서프레션 정책을 택하셨는지 예를 들어서 각 나라마다 이제 일정 수준의 환자가 발생하면은 이거는 도저히 이제 서프레션 정책으로 가야 되겠다 이런 판단을 하게 되는데 그런 어떤 환자에 대한 기준을 지키고 계셨는지요?
其实我感受，我通过观察中国这次处理，
Based on my observation on China's practice on disease prevention and control, especially the measures imposed to Wuhan and other places, actually was different measures taken. So the lockdown in Wuhan, I believe it must be a tough decision. And you can see many countries right now is also in that intersection whether they need to lock down that specific city or the whole country. So regarding the lockdown, how you base on what kind of TA, what's TA criteria for you to make your decision on whether lockdown or not? So we talk about that this was a contagious infectious disease. Actually, we talk about in China, it's not correct. We talk about China is a huge place. We talk about China, Wuhan actually has found this coronavirus outbreak with a high contagion. And this is actually became the epicenter, and we need to curb its spreading to other places, and the other places is also carry out the mass production and control. So these actually buy us valuable time. Actually, in a country, we talk about the outbreak that should not really to one city. That should be happened in many cities of one country. We talk about right now the case just in Wuhan. That's a big outbreak happened. So we need to contain the virus inside Wuhan. So we talk about the send the people to school, then we should look at a very low number of new cases within 1 month. Another thing is the management of imported cases. If these two parts is really good, then I believe we should not wait too long to restart our school. That may be by the end of April. Of course, you cannot never open school, right? Never let our kids back to school. And also you cannot really kill the disease. And that's maybe a long-term disease that we talk about, that we should curb a large scale of outbreak. We talk about right now among our population, 6% of people may carry SARS antibody, which means that they may be transmitted to others, but not really cause a large scale of pandemic or epidemic. So the questions are from our viewers. We mentioned about the imported cases. Right now, actually is a hot topic in Guangdong province, and also may cause some a message or a discriminated message online regarding the imported cases or the people, or we talk about for the countries or the hotspot places that people came from these areas, they have a quite high risk level of being infected. But if actually we have conducted a really good job in screening, identifying, diagnosing all these people like the practice introduced by Professor Lee, we should find this group of people and also keep a close eye on them. They will not really cause another resurgence. So we talk about another outbreak was not impossible, then I'm not really worried about that. Of course, we will see more imported cases. Same for China, same for ROK. You want to really bring down the number to 0, I can say it's not that impossible. Otherwise, either you shut down your border say we not really want to connect to the whole world, then maybe you can bring that number to 0. But as long as you would like to connect it to the rest of the world, then you not really see that 0 of imported cases. Regarding the discriminated words, how we can deal with this situation. We talk about the coronavirus, actually respect no color of people. It started from the yellow skin and then to the white people, to black people. We talk about we are all the vulnerable people. We should treat people as equals. So my understanding is there's no differences in race. So we talk about right now because it's very soon to the spring season, and we will very soon see in Beijing the peak season of catkin. So whether we also have that situation in ROK? Yes, we have that situation, the catkin in ROK, but that's not crazy as the situation in Beijing. So we talk about in spring or summertime, the catkin or the mosquito that may be the transmit the virus. Actually, according to my knowledge, you do not need to worry about the mosquitoes. Regarding the catkin that may cause people coughing in the hard hit region, I don't think it's may become a transmission route or transmission source. So Embassy Xing, I believe that you have quite the observations for both sides. And for myself, actually, I've worked on the Korean Peninsula for more than 1 decade. And actually, I also was the first batch of people working in the Korean Peninsula in 1992. And we actually have experienced many touching stories. Talk about 2003 SARS outbreak, 2015 MERS, and this time 2019 COVID-19 outbreak. The people of both sides stand firmly, worked together, helped each other. 2 years ago, a surname Kong actually attended a meeting in Seoul and had a heart disease, and the ROK side actually gave a great support to treat the patient and also give the visa to the patient's family members. And we also have seen that this time the Mr. Kong actually himself donated masks to Seoul to express his appreciation. And we talk about the two heads of states actually keep a close contact and conduct a phone conversation and also reach the consensus on the patient diagnosis and treatment, and also the cooperation and also exchange views in this regard. On the international community, actually, our both sides were the very first one, led by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to establish that interagency mechanism, creating an effective mechanism of cooperation. And that also involved the Ministry of Transportation, the Civil Aviation, the National Health Commission. So we talk about China, actually, we work together, we stay united, like we playing chess on the same chat board. So for the ROK, they're also doing quite a good job in the early identification and early treatment. So our good practice actually not only benefit ourselves, also benefit our neighbors, as well as contributing a lot to the global landscape. At the same time, I will also maintain our economic and trade cooperation amid the pandemic in order to mitigate the impact caused by the COVID-19. Of course, we have seen some fluctuation to our economic and trade cooperation, but we did not shut down our doors to each other, and we think about all different ways to conduct the flow of trade, the people, and resources. After rain, we will see sunshine. I believe with our arduous efforts, and we will work together to fight against COVID-19 and win the final victory. I believe that also will see a upgrading of our contribution in many sectors. I believe Madam Tu also have a lot of story to tell us, right? Hello to all. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere respect to Academician Zhong and Professor Li for your hard work on the front line, and also the Ambassador Xing. Actually, we always can see their presence in the different venues that they help to transporting the donation from Korea, the ROK, to China, and right now they also help to coordinating the donation from China to ROK. And we talk about, for myself, I've been in ROK for many years, and it's actually was a difficult time in the previous 3 months, but actually it also helped me to understand a common destiny of a shared future for people at both sides. It's really showed our brotherhood, really reflect our firm friendship. So we talk about in January, actually, we have seen the many sectors that from the political side, the business side, the religious side, they make their donation to China. And also, later on, we have seen China also giving a really helping hand to China. I remember that once in the Incheon port, because back then we were working on delivering the donation to Yunnan province, but actually, you know what? I received a phone call from Yunnan province saying that they noticing that right now the ROK is suffering from a hard time. So they talk about that. We know we need that donation, but I believe the Korean side also need that. So please keep that donation to the urgent need people in ROK. So this is really a touching story that we really put ourselves in each other's shoes. We really want that urgent needed supplies to each other's people. So we talk about this is really showcase our strong friendship. That's a really touching story, and we can feel that strong people-to-people tie. And also in a dark time in ROK, we received donation from Heilongjiang Province, Jilin, Chongqing, Yunnan, Guizhou, Gansu. A lot of places actually make donation or carry message to us. I believe that this is really lie in the fact of a shared community of mankind between China and ROK. We talk about the love will for sure help us to secure the final victory. Thank you too for your sharing. And we talk about the besides the storytelling. Any questions? Ambassador Xing, you would like to ask? The Academician Zhong and Professor Li, and on behalf of the public, how you judge the trajectory of the pandemic in the future, because right now we are in a really grim and complex situation. And maybe Academician Zhong, you go first. Regarding the trajectory of a pandemic depends on two things. First, this natural law of the virus. So we talk about this virus actually is really contagious because it finds a favorable condition in existing in human body, and it's a 20 times contagion than other influenza. And we talk about that the developing mechanism. We talk about normal respiratory disease, that's the contagion level can be a little bit lower. And we look at the two things. We need to first take measures to curb the spread. We talk about the mortality rate of influenza or flu is just 0.2%. We're going to look at ROK, the number is 0.18. And right now, look at for the Western countries, right now their fertility rate is around 10%. It's super high. So right now, the average of mortality rate is around 4%. So this is really a high number. So what we need to do is we need to speed up our efforts to develop vaccine. We cannot rely on that a social immunity, which means that the whole public or the majority of the population is infected, and then we all have that antibody to the virus. And one more thing we need to depend on is the situation in the United States and the European countries. We should look at the decision making by their governments. Right now, the European countries is practicing social distancing after the heavy price paid. And look at the United States. Every day we have seen their number increase by 20,000 per day. This is really concern us. More than 200 countries. We live in one family. We should not leave any country behind. If one country is experiencing the pandemic, then all countries will be impacted. So we need to do everything to curb the transmission. So we should work together after the pandemic to think about how to improve the hand hygiene habit as well as development of vaccines. That will be the better way out. Professor Li?
저도 비슷한 이제 견해를 가지고 있습니다. 중국이나 한국이 20명, 30명대 이런 환자는 아마 계속적으로 아마 지속되는 상황일 걸로 판단이 되고요.
我也是和钟院士的看法差不多。
I share a similar understanding with Academician Zhong. The ROK and China in the short time to go will experience still a small increasing number, around 20 to 30 cases.
않을까 생각하는 반면에 미국과 유럽에서의 대규모 환자 발생은 아마 여름쯤이면은 이제 많이 줄어들 것으로 봅니다.
中韩两国的这些零星的这个散发性的这个疫情，
So talking about these sporadic cases in most countries may continue to happen until this by the end of this year. But look at a larger scale of infections in the United States or European countries may see a turning point by the end of the summertime this year.
궁금한 분들도 많고 논란이 많이 있습니다. 그런 이제 2차 발병에 대비해서 저희가 백신을 만들 수 있으면 좋은데 백신의 전망이 한 1, 2년 안에 만들어질 것 같지는 않습니다.
所以说现在大家外界都很关注这个疫情形势的反复。
So a whole public really concerned about maybe the a virus may regain its strength and cause a second round of outbreak. I believe a key should be in developing vaccines, but it's impossible to have that magic bullet in 1 or 2 years.
사회적 거리두기, 피지컬 디스턴스 빼놓고는 대안이 없는 상황입니다.
所以在当前来看，我们可能就像刚才朱院士您说的一样，
So as Academician Zhong just said, in our daily activities, we should keep social distancing.
하는 그런 말씀을 드립니다. 예를 들어서 지금 많은 직장들이 원격으로 화상 회의를 하던가 원격으로 결제를 하던가 비대면을 많이 늘려가고 있습니다.
也就是说要倡导在日常生活中。
So we should encourage people to keep that physical distancing. Like right now in some companies, they are doing a work at home. I believe that's also a good practice.
모든 이런 것들을 생활 속에서 바꿔서 거리두기를 하는 아이디어를 지금 많이 만들어내고 있는 상황입니다.
其实也有很多的人，也在这个开发一些很好的想法。
And we also have seen people actually coming up with really smart ideas to keep us physical distancing, like no handshaking or no hugs. I believe these are all good practice.
생활 속의 거리두기 이런 이제 말로서 표현을 하고 다양한 아이디어를 지금 모아서 실천 전략을 짜고 있습니다.
我们韩国也是，目前在收集这些生活中应该。
In ROK, right now we also sum up a good practice in that day-to-day life, and we will issue a document to educate the public.
그리고 더욱 중요한 것은 이번에 다 보듯이 환자가 발생하니까는 다들 각자 공생으로 국경을 폐쇄하고 또 물자교를 중단하고 이러면서 나라들이 경제적 어려움이 커지고 국제사회가 공조도 없어지고 연대의식도 흐려지고 그런 이제 상황이 되고 있습니다.
其实现在我们在这个疫情抗击疫情过程中，可以看到。
During the course of containing the virus, some countries closed down the borders, which caused an unimpeded flow of people and products, which also caused a big impact to the international economy. That also actually hamper the international cooperation in order to create the synergy to fight against COVID-19.
보장해라, 인권을 보장해라 함에도 불구하고 각 나라들은 서로 비난하고 또 근원을 제공한 책임에 대해서 서로를 비난하는 측면이 있는데 제일 중요한 거는 국제적 공조하에서 이 질환을 퇴치하고자 하는 어떤 연대 의식이 있어야지 이 문제를 해결할 수 있을 것으로 봅니다.
其实世界卫生组织也是在劝告各国在
Actually, WHO is also saying that the is not suggest the countries to close down the borders, but not all countries follow their suggestions. So we can see that actually the hamper the exchange of people, and also saying that we not have a quite a strong cooperation awareness. I'm also worried about that mentality is not finger pointing time. We should work together to win the battle. Academician Zhong, do you share the same feeling? Yes, I couldn't agree more. Because right now our common enemy is COVID-19. It's the first and foremost importance should go to the COVID-19 outbreak. We should work together. Right now, actually, we have a regular meeting with many countries to share our experience. And also, Professor Lee mentioned that we not really have a close cooperation with other countries. We look at for which sectors. For the political level, maybe that's not really stay closely because different countries hold different point of view. But looking at the disease prevention control level, we have a quite a close communication.